people being good to people.
This is about Punta Cana. This is about new beginnings. This is about business. This is about transition.
One of the biggest pains in life is to have regrets. Sometimes still feel I have the ability to make a big impact in the world. Presentó a la Machuca. That was the moment that solidified absolutely everything. And Machuca is my message to the world. So truly our motto is to create, to inspire, and to give back. It's also about having fun in bed.
Hi, everybody. On today's episode of Punta Cana Podcast from my penthouse, we have a very special guest. His name is Joel Goor. He is from Canada. And our theme today is talking about expats doing business in Punta Cana. And I'm excited to have Joel here today to talk about his business, Machuca. Joel, welcome to the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Cheryl, first off, thanks very much for having me here. This is my first time visiting the penthouse of Cheryl Henderson, the infamous one. Coming from a different country, coming from Canada or a different region like North America, Europe, it's always going to be something strange when you go to a new territory. For me, what the inception point really behind it was the first time I came here back in 2017, eyes opened up, heart opened up, just fell in love with the people, the vibe, the culture, and really more so the opportunity on many different levels. And those levels, they can go beyond just enjoying the beautiful nature. Like I'm looking out the window, you guys can't see it, but I'm looking at the sea, I'm looking at the palm trees, I'm looking at the sunshine. Really, there's much worse offices you could have in the world.
Exactly.
So, it's just a real pleasure to be here. And it's also a real pleasure to be able to talk about my story, to also network and collaborate with others in the same kind of direction.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that because I'm very excited to hear about how did you get to Punta Cana? Tell us about your first experience here in Punta Cana.
Okay, that's a big question for sure. Originally, I came by airplane, but jokes aside, it was back in November 2017 that I came here. So what kind of led to that was my girlfriend at the time, she's now my wife, we got married a few years ago,
Nice.
Also a Punta Cana love story, but I promise you guys, there's not enough time on this episode to cover even like a drop of it.
So for sure, we'll have to have you back.
I would
So
love
we
to.
already know we're going to have Joel back to hear his Punta Cana love story. But go ahead.
Thank
Your
you.
first experience here in the country, you were with your girlfriend.
That's
you
right.
You came by plane.
That's right. We had usually gone to different areas of Mexico for travel, for vacations, and that would be like Cancun, Riviera Maya, that kind of thing. But what ended up happening was, as a recommendation of one of the people I was working with on a project in construction, he said, look, two places you're going to go, St. Lucia or Dominican Republic. Lo and behold, we ended up in Punta Cana, thankfully so. Otherwise, we would not be doing this right now.
Yeah,
So-
many people, it's very interesting because many people end up coming here accidentally the first time. So it's kind of interesting that it depends on weather or what's going on in other places. Many stories are that they were planning to go somewhere else and ended up in Punta Cana like you did. That's very interesting.
There's like one of these giant spinning boards that we can't see that just kind of takes us where we got to go.
We end up here, right?
I'm sure you've got an interesting story as well, but for me, you totally got it. And I love the fact that you understand that and that you see that. And that's one thing that, even though this is a beautiful podcast, even though like this is really explaining a lot of it, but there's so much more that you can't explain. You have to visit yourself and see it yourself.
Yeah.
And that was really fundamentally the point why I ended up coming here and staying here and deciding to basically commit my life here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because I had a varied background growing up. Like essentially most of my life I spent in construction, that kind of thing, working with concrete, doing some pretty wild projects, and did a complete 180 from that when I came here. And that really, it was like such a profound impact. It impacted my soul, it impacted my vision. It basically said to me, it called to me saying, Joel, guess what? You're still young, you still got your abilities to do this. You can still make the world a better place. We're putting you here right now and you're starting.
Wow. So you felt like...
It felt like I was
something-
meant to be here.
Okay.
Like literally my entire life I was kind of wandering around. I used to live in Japan when 9/11 happened. I used to live in Amsterdam. I used to live in Slovakia, different places like that. So being around the world, being through a lot of stuff like most of us have, when I first came here, it just like there was this click in here and in here. And I don't regret it one little bit.
Nice. Now, well, you're still here, so
That's right.
I mean, if it
Knock
wasn't
on
for
wood.
you, you wouldn't be here still. What took you all over the world? What caused you to travel to all those different places in the world?
The truth of it all was, if you can boil it down to one thing, was to kind of find myself.
Okay.
This is something we all go through, every single person for the most part, but it's about finding what your strengths, your weaknesses are, what makes you click, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, the people you relate with, the vibe you have. And for me, this is the exotic, this is the Caribbean, this is the good life. Yeah, it's not always going to be super easy, but nothing worthwhile should be easy.
Yeah, that is so interesting because something caused me to decide to stay here, to decide to come back 6 months after my first trip. And this is a conversation that I actually have with many, many people who end up living here, is that there's some kind of a draw. But then it's interesting to hear you say that it's not easy. Talk to me a little bit about that, because this is paradise, right? We live here, we love it here. We've had our lives changed by moving here.
Okay.
It's not always a fairy tale story, is it?
No, it never is. It never is. And people that say that it is, well, that's a different story altogether. But truthfully, guys, you can look at it in so many different ways. If you want to be in shape, you have to put in the time at the gym. If you want to get your degree, you have to spend the hours studying, all of this kind of stuff. So to that end, yes, it is absolutely paradise. I wake up in the morning and I always thank the big guy that I'm here. Really,
Yes.
You open the windows and you're surrounded by all of these beautiful different people, different components, different amazing things, and it's people being good to people.
Yes.
And that's one thing that so much of this world has kind of lost.
Yes.
And this is kind of leading to the inception point of Machuca. So bear with me, it's a huge story again, and I'm doing my best to compress it. I really am, but there's just so much.
Listen, we can have a part 1 and part 2. Tell your story.
I'd love to.
Because that's what we're here for. This is about Punta Cana. This is about new beginnings. This is about business. This is about transition. I know that we will encompass all of that, because that is the story that evolves when you move to a foreign country, and when you start over, and when you have that calling, and when you have something within your heart that you want to share with the world. So talk to us about the origins of Machuca.
All right. So I guess I've just laid a bit of a foundation talking about moving around the world, trying to find myself, immediately fall in love with the people. It was within the first hours of being here. It's one thing that I've been in other countries, and yes, other countries have some amazing cultures, but here it's something that I always found special, because it's not about the money that people have. If we look at the local populace, there's a lot of differentiation between what's available, what's not. But even people that have so little are so happy.
Yes.
And that to me is true wealth. That is true amazingness. Without getting too emotional about it, but it's like, for what Machuca had to have happen, it was basically me kind of being a bit lost. It was me wanting to be with better people to also make a difference, be in the right spot at the right time, and it all just clicked.
Wow.
So to start with Machuca itself, what had happened, there's some stuff that's a little bit more on the darker side, nothing crazy dark or anything like that, but it's after the rain comes the sunshine and all that. So don't think of it as a bad thing. It's truly an amazing thing. So what happened is, very first few days, just met so many amazing people. I'm like, sometimes still feel I have the ability to make a big impact in the world.
Of course.
As long
We're
as-
here.
That's right.
We're here for a reason, right?
So with it, I was embraced by the culture, said, listen guys, I absolutely love this country, love this people, love how people are good to each other. You still see younger people getting up off the bus seat to give an older person it.
Yes.
Why can't the world be more like this? Just get off your high horse and just be a decent person.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
me definitely abbreviating my construction voice, by the way, or language. I'm really loving being able to depict this story. And again, we know there's a lot of real meat on the potatoes. It's kind of relevant,
exactly.
right? With Machuca is technically right now a company. It's a brand. We do a lot of different stuff, like producing our own award-winning rum right here in the Dominican Republic. We also make our own cigars. We're also heavily vested into the design side of things. If all wishes came true and everything succeeded, we'd be designing some pretty amazing stuff. And that's me biting my tongue again, with different brands, doing cross combinations. Like really, it's limitless. And that's what the vision is. Just to quickly bring it a little bit more into the same circle, we had the inspiration. The inspiration was coming here, being touched by the country. Now, the word Machuca, I'm going to touch on this really quickly right now, but I use the example, like in Jamaica, they say one love. Mm-hmm. And I always say it's like one love, but one love on steroids, because this is limitless. And I'm even getting goosebumps. I don't know if the camera can see.
Oh my goodness, I can see the goosebumps.
Yeah, tough guy with goosebumps, right? So
bad boy, right?
That's right. We'll get to that later.
Love
too.
that. Okay.
So anyways, the word Machuca, it's about connection. It's about positivity. It's about all the good stuff in life. It's also about having fun in bed. Okay? So there's the word, there's the inspiration.
Doble sentido.
Claro que sí.
Double meaning.
Claro. Estamos como diablos a veces.
I
Solo
see.
un chin.
Seguro que sí.
Claro. Okay, so back to English now. We had the inspiration, we had the name, but how were we going to do this? So what we did is we actually came up with this little bottle right over here.
Wow.
Presentó a la Machuca, o el ron Machuca. The inspiration of it was the island. And now this was our very first flagship product. This one has won 5 international awards. Last one as of about 2 weeks ago in Hong Kong. So it's been around the world just like we have. And this is essentially everything we do, we always have to do with heart, with purpose, and to have a big point behind it. So with this guy right here, this took us many years to develop. It was a labor of love, but it was when the ideas of like the creative, of the inspiration kind of all came together. And that actually happened on the night where my girlfriend at the time had a serious fall. She almost died in my hands. She was concussed, lost a lot of blood. Again, this isn't about that right now, but that ultimately brought all these different points together. And then Machuca began, and it began on November 19th, 2017. Really, like you see the bottle right there, it exists. It took us, just looking at can I see the bottle, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So it took us 4.5 months to develop the bottle itself. You can see all the different textures, all the curvature. There's a lot of symbology behind it too.
So tell us about that. I mean, actually, when I noticed the bottle, I do notice the shape of it, that it has interesting textures, very long. It has the M there. It looks very nautical. Machuca, of course, I love the name because even the little kids, Machuca.
You just reminded me of something so cool, and you just gave me a lot to work with, and you did it in a very beautiful way, so I can segue off of it. So,
okay.
So you rock, all right? Yeah, and that's
Tell us about it.
And that's one thing. So, like you say, Machuca, coming here as an expat, as a tourist, whatever you want to call it, you're walking down in areas where most tourists don't usually go to. You'll see people that might be having a bad day or whatever, and they don't have a lot of life in their face. And especially from somebody coming from a different country.
I was just thinking that. So let me just say, because you even mentioned that it's not generally Dominicans.
Yeah.
And actually, when you said that, I thought to myself, probably a tourist or somebody coming from somewhere else who needs the sunshine and the inspiration that comes from this country. So I apologize, but I am so on the same wavelength as you right now.
That's so cool. I guarantee you and we could talk for years, not even more than that. So coming back a bit to the significance of the Machuca and what really captivated me, what energized me behind it. And one thing that I just saw, it was almost like magic, actually.
Wow.
And that's a good way to put it, but it's like, again, magic plus. Walking down the street, and this was over 6 years ago because Machuca hadn't started yet. It started on the 19th, so this would be whatever, like November 7th, 6th, somewhere in there. Walking down the street, just see somebody that has like the very long face and looks like there's not a lot of joy. They're like, sometimes I guess an observation or a point of thinking could have been like, hey, this guy's thinking I'm another tourist, whatever, anything like that. And of course, you know how we are. Like the people that come to Punta Cana, to Dominican Republic, the vast majority of people that come here are coming here to make a difference. They're not coming here to bring bad stuff, right? And that's one of the really most significant points about being here. It's about, we're here for a reason, right? So fast forwarding again, the guy wasn't having a very good day, and I just learned the word Machuca. So I stuck out my hand and I said, Machuca like this is face lit up, the biggest smile from ear to ear, eyes open like this. And the hand came out, and that was the connection. That was the Machuca. That was the moment that solidified absolutely everything. And again, goosebumps.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's such a good feeling, and it's a beautiful word. I mean, when I first heard the word Machuca, so many things ran through my head, but instantly I thought of camaraderie, actually, like a good feeling, a good spirit, a good energy, a good emotion.
Spirit, I like that.
And that was so interesting to hear your origin story about where the name came from.
Thank you. I mean, I can't take credit for the word itself, but I'm trying to do what I can do to make it more prolific, right?
Yeah, let's all talk about Machuca.
Okay.
So
Let's steal a page from Sting then. This is our message in a bottle, right
all
here.
right.
And
Love it.
That's what I was saying. That Machuca is so much more than a brand, a company, a rum, a cigar. Machuca truly, when you look at everything to do with Machuca, Machuca is my message to the world.
Amazing.
And that message is you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it, if you have the right people in your life, if you have that grit, that incessant fight in you.
Wow.
And that's what Machuca is. So truly our motto is to create, to inspire, and to give back. This is us creating. This is us inspiring. On the give back, we have so many massive ambitions on that. And we work with like a lot of community like yourselves. Mm-hmm. I know you're involved with some different associations like the VA and what have you. And that's what really, I'm going to segue off for a sec. I was trying about an hour before coming here, I was trying to visualize exactly the kind of conversation you and I were going to have. I'm like, is this going to be a little tense? But I already knew you, so I knew it wouldn't. In truth, the best way to possibly put it is that, this is really a gift with what we're doing.
Wow.
And we're so happy to be here.
And so to create, to inspire,
and to give back. That's
so
right.
Let's start from the beginning, the first one. To create. Tell me about that. Tell me about the creation.
Sure.
And how all of that works. I really want to break down this theme, this vibe.
Okay.
Tell me about.
So, truth be told, I'm a bit of a nerd as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really, absolutely.
How so? Define nerd.
I took engineering in school, and because of that, when I look at structures, when I look at this and that, I can see stuff that's not level. I can see if the guy was like leaving on a Friday afternoon or starting work late on Monday morning or whatever. I appreciate like the finer little details in design. Just to kind of bring it back, that's perfect because you'd mentioned the bottle design itself.
Yeah, beautiful.
So if you guys see this over here, the symbology behind it all, it's kind of parallel to the start of Machuca. Because when Machuca started, the whole world was kind of unknown to me. I just come to Dominican. I spoke like almost zero Spanish. So this was a whole new frontier. It's like, okay, I don't understand everything, but I know I want to be here.
If you want to get rich in real estate, download my PDF.
So Cheryl, coming back to the bottle and the design of it, and it was basically like the whole start of Machuca, the inception point, the catalyst, the fire that lit the inside of the heart going, right? Not heartburn though. What it really symbolizes is if you look at the top of the bottle, this shows when you start to meet somebody. And if you look at it a little closer, it's a bunch of tight-knit diamonds over here.
Yes.
So as you get to know people, much like we're starting to get to know each other, much like hopefully some of the audience is starting to see this, the relationships.
It like opens up.
There you go. Exactly.
Wow.
It opens all the way
It
up.
expands.
That's right.
Wow, look at that. And down here, they're big.
That's right. That's
Amazing.
right. Because the relationship gets stronger, the diamonds are bigger. So two symbols we have are the hearts and diamonds. Hearts because we are the brand with the big heart from the Caribbean. The diamonds because we love to fucking shine.
Woo!
Now,
love it. Shine bright like a diamond.
That's right, Rihanna.
Machuca.
We got to reach out to her agent for that one, right?
Exactly.
We got a couple Machuca songs out there, like Tonio Rosario, Machucalo.
Oh.
We have, I think, Don Miguel with Pitbull, We have Anita with J Balvin. All these, not that they did it for us. They probably don't know who we are yet.
No, but we'll have to play those songs.
That's
I'll
right.
have to put them in my playlist.
That's right. We got to get them to play a private tour right here.
Let's do it.
Done. Looking at the bottle itself, this is the opening of the relationship, and we actually designed the thickness wall size of the bottle to be a bit more in the shape of a champagne bottle, to be honest. So we're breaking the mold behind rum. We didn't want to follow anybody else's footstep. That's why it's a red color. That's really why I decided to kind of say, this is what we're going to do. It was never to try and replicate or whatever. It was to be a leader and just be creative and just do cool shit.
Wow. You speak about what rum. Why rum?
Okay. All right. So perfect timing on that one then. We'll just let him chill for a little bit. So the rum itself, as you know, Caribbean rum kind of go hand in hand. There's a big history of the rum here, and it basically came to be around the same time as the Spanish, Christopher, Bartholomew, Columbus, all those guys. But before that, that's what I loved. This whole story about Machuca began at one of the resorts in Punta Cana, probably like a mile from where we are right now.
Right.
I saw a drink at the resort that people were drinking, because on the one side I was always kind of like the client on the liquor,
right.
And now that I had the creative, I had the inspiration, now I had like the vision to do something. I'm like, hey, how am I going to actually do this? It's great to have a dream, but a dream ain't worth very much unless you can do it. Right?
Not very much, right?
That's right. So
he's censoring himself. He doesn't have to, but it's okay.
I'll drop the F-bombs a little bit later on, guys. So
maybe we should have a drink first and loosen.
You know what? Yeah. Can we get 2 Machucas, please? Anybody?
No,
let's see. Let's see if we can get some magic happening.
Not much. And yeah, let's get some magic out of Joel.
You have dreamed of the perfect Caribbean beach lifestyle. With Boardwalk Developments, we have the blueprint for you in this tropical paradise. Celebrate incredible returns when you elevate your investment portfolio with the hottest real estate in Punta Cana. Invest wisely, live lavishly. We'll show you how. Contact Boardwalk Developments, Punta Cana.
Voila, we have some magic now, guys. So while we do a little toast over here, what we have going on, these are some mojitos with Machuca over here. And Cheryl over here, has the Machuca traditional.
Traditional Machuca.
So
I would say on the rocks, there's not ice in there, but it's like puro.
That's
Pure.
the right way. Like for us, what we always do is we'll drink it ice cold, straight out of the freezer, and without any ice, because we don't want that dilation.
Okay.
If you're gonna keep it cold, because let's face it, outside it ain't cold. So if you're gonna do anything like that, you can chill your glass, or you can put like a whiskey stone in there too, right? So don't want to catch you putting ice in it too often. I'll let it slide a couple times, but yeah.
So now we know what not to do with Machuca, not on the rocks. So Joel has told us what we need to do to enjoy Machuca the right way.
That's right. First off, it's going to start with a smile. It's going to start off on the beach. It's going to start off with people you care about. That's how you start off Machuca. And let the night just take it from there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excelente.
All right. Cheers to that. So,
Ooh. Yeah.
so what you're tasting there,
That's good.
Thank you very much. It's 35% alcohol. It has all natural herbs and spices. The color is completely natural, 100% natural. Because it's rum, it's obviously gluten-free as well. So we put our heart and soul into everything that we do, which is you guys are going to see is a very, very common theme, because we actually give a fuck. And, you know, it's really that simple, actually. I'm not even going to diatribe off that. The history about the Machuca itself. Now, there was a rum here, or a rum derivative product. When I first went to the resorts, fell in love with the idea, was searching for the vehicle to make it happen. There's a drink here, and it's called Mamajuana. Now, Mamajuana, I'll give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. Yeah, I've spent countless time researching it all, meeting really cool people along the way, like some people in like little villages, little towns, little farms, like the old people, like the whole gamut of everybody. So it's been really, really cool like that.
The experience.
The experience, like,
Yeah.
yeah, just hearing it firsthand, getting to meet these people that probably haven't met another white guy ever. Just saying. Not that that really matters. The Mama Juana itself, it came to be around the same year as Christopher, or sorry, that's actually wrong. Mama Juana came to be around the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
And that was the result of a maceration, which was the original recipe by the Taino. So if you think about it, it's like
And the Tainos are the indigenous people.
correct.
The
correct.
Tainos.
Sorry, I'm also forgetting that I'm not speaking to the Dominican Republic. So yeah, thank you for
No,
catching me.
no,
No. Thank you for catching me on that. No, don't ever stop that.
Okay.
Ever, okay. So like the Taino people were some of the first indigenous people here in the Dominican Republic. They have the same kind of heredity as the Arawak people as well, like Northern Carib, coming from. And I'm not a history professor, so if I make mistakes, please don't kill me, all right? But essentially, as far as I know,
If you need to know, Google it.
that's right. That's
And
right.
that still may not be 100%, but tell us the story,
She
Joe.
is
We're
now
enjoying the story.
the legal department as well. So
Contact legal.
that's right. That's right. Basically, they left South America vis-a-vis Venezuela. It wasn't called Venezuela at the time, but they came up to the Caribbean, also like the neighboring islands like Cuba, Jamaica, what have you. Point simply being is that around year 500, around year 600, they started making a very special maceration. And what it was is they would use like the leaves, they would use the berries, they would use the bark, they would use the roots from these plants. Because guess what? First off, there wasn't internet, there wasn't modern machines. What you had to make use of it, and you'd have to make sure you didn't kill you. Hopefully the opposite. So they started making this tea, the ceremonial, and the history was that it's supposed to be really good for your health, for your pulmonary system, for your liver, your various other organs, and also the organ that makes babies.
Yes.
So there's the history.
Mama Juana. Yeah, it's well known for being the Dominican aphrodisiac.
for
right,
sure.
Exactly.
For sure. I mean, who doesn't like to get a little naughty sometimes? All right, you guys are now seeing that there's so many layers to Machuca. Machuca is more than a word, it's more than a brand. It's like literally take all this good stuff, put it into like this awesome maceration, push it together, mash it up, and that's what you get. You get just like that vibe.
Wow.
That's what we are.
Okay, so Machuca has the Mama Juana effect too. Is that what we're saying?
Okay, unofficially, we can say that we brought Machuca back to Canada a few times. It's actually been like 36 or 38 countries right now.
Wow.
But yeah, step by step, paso a paso. But the point is, in Edmonton alone, which is the city I was born in Canada, apparently there's been at least 3 children created by nights out with Machuca. Just in our small group.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay, so you can make an official or unofficial note that Machuca is responsible for some people who have joined the world.
I'm sure it supported the condom industry. It's supported the bed mattress industry. It supported the hotel industry. It supported, all levels of all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so we have the domino effect starting in Punta Cana with Machuca.
That's right.
The domino
This is the
effect.
ground zero right here.
Okay.
100%.
Got
we
it.
want people to have a good time in every sense.
I
we
love
were actually going to make a shirt.
Machuca.
Machuca, yeah. The Taino, the Mama Juana, we went back to the original Taino. We went to the ground zero again of that, and we took those ingredients, made a special maceration, worked with our master blender at the factory, and we developed a golden rum base it's an aged golden rum. It's got various characteristics from the barrels. Of course, a lot of this is a secret. Go figure. Come on. Would Colonel Sanders give it away?
No, ancient
Exact-
Chinese secret,
There
right?
you go.
As they say.
There you go.
Back in the day. I'm aging myself now.
No. So really, Machuca, it's a 2-part thing. It's 100% natural, and it's actually got a very, very low percentage of methyl alcohol, which is the alcohol that gives you the hangover. So guys, drink Machuca.
Excellent. We've talked about creativity. Now tell us about inspiration.
That is a massive word and a massive question, but really, at the end of the day, the inspiration is to make the best use of the time that we have, the abilities that we have, the network, the friends, the family that we have. It's always been and always has been about amplifying each other. Instead of being more pessimistic towards somebody. It's about being the optimist. It's about saying, look, we all fuck up every now and then.
Yeah.
Show me one person that hasn't. I guarantee nobody can.
They don't exist.
Exactly.
Either that or it's a big cover up.
Yeah. Watergate was nothing, right? Yeah, it's the fact that we just want to see other people excel in life. We want to create the next generations of people that, like, if you're getting inspired by the message that I'm able to relate to you, I want to see the next generation of the kids taking that torch and amplifying it.
I definitely feel inspired. There go the goosebumps again.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I feel inspired by your story because it is a story of someone who came, who was open to opportunities and possibilities, who found them here, who has created something, and you're really leaving your mark on the world in a very, very positive mark. And that kind of leads into, I don't even know what I might hear, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing about the giving back. So tell me a little bit about that.
On the giving back side, I think you're starting to also see like how everything is kind of interlaced. Everything is connected. And what is that connection? It's the intent with what we do things with. So on the giving back side, I don't usually like talking specifically about charities. We generally try and be like the Secret Santa or, on the side. We generally never advertise it. We would advertise stuff for like a direct effort, and we have the ability right now to make a difference, to give some aid where we can and draw some connection of community. Right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I really appreciate that. And something that I really love in all the years that I've been here now, I've lived here going on 18 years now. And many of the people I have met over the years really appreciate what this country has to offer or what the country has meant to them in their lives, let's say. For me, I really love giving back and being a part of the community, being a part of the solution. And so many people I've met are the same. They appreciate what has happened in our lives and want to give something back. So yes, we've recently had floods. We have a nice effort going to be able to help some of the people in some of the towns that are still very affected by that. So I think that's really beautiful. So tell me a little bit about doing business, because the idea and the concept actually of this episode is an expat doing business, although we had to get some background, which is amazing because maybe people have an idea of starting business and would want to know where does the inspiration come from. But also tell me about being a business owner and starting a business in Punta Cana.
Well, there's a couple topics here that I can definitely add to. I think the way that you just kind of brought that up to me about talking about the inspiration and the reason, the why is usually always the most important part of doing business. The rest are factors you kind of figure out along the way. If I want to go here, which way do I go up? Which stairs do I take? Whatever. But it's the why. It always has been. So if you guys are interested in starting a business here, I'm sure most people won't try and take on the whole world like I literally did. I'm definitely a little crazy, but thank God I've got like an amazing family, an amazing team, and amazing new friends, which basically is family too. So with that, it's that if you're looking to start.
But do you have to be crazy? Or
no, fuck no. No.
What does it take?
Okay, so it depends on what level of business you want to start.
Okay.
You can start something as simple as like doing crafts in your own place, doing some arts, these kind of things. You have to develop what scope you're looking after. But I mean, all in all, if you're looking to start a business, it's the same as usual. You do your legal research, and this is the kind of the boring part of the conversation, but I'll lay it out for you guys just so you know. You do your legal research, you do your business evaluation, see what kind of competitors you have, see if what you're doing has a market, if people are going to like it, if it's going to grow, if it's going to be something that you're trying to push down their throats or not, or if it's just something that'll organically be uptaken.
Yeah, so kind of like normal market research, business planning, like
exactly.
You might do anywhere.
100%.
Okay.
Business
Okay.
will still be business. You're going to have your accountants, you're going to have your lawyers, you're going to have to pay taxes.
Okay.
Immutable stuff, right?
Okay, that's true.
So-
That's true. So it's the same everywhere.
I'm going to try and dial it in a little bit more specifically because we're
Like
here.
your challenges, were there any challenges for doing business in Punta Cana versus, I don't know if you did business up north or if you've established other businesses before, but were there some challenges that you felt you had to overcome?
If I was to look back on the biggest challenges of starting a business, I would say one of them might be a little bit of the language, but that was a few years ago. And nowadays, especially with AI, with Duolingo and all the various apps, Babbel, what have you, and especially if you have really strong connections here and you have business partners, whatever shape or form that's going to take, you basically, it's always advantageous to have a local source of the information and just combine forces. Always. Obstacles, really just understanding what systems, having some good professionals behind you, and just, dotting your I's and crossing your T's, that kind of stuff. So really, it's nothing too magical. Just spend a little bit of time, have a drink on a Friday night, have a drink on a Saturday night, and just do some research, see what tickles your fancy.
Okay.
Can't believe I just said tickle your fancy.
That was a song back in the day. I like that you say that because this is something that I talk with many clients who come and ask me about starting a business, especially having been here all of these years and seeing so many different types of businesses come and seeing the community grow. Normally, I just recommend that just look around and see what's missing.
Totally.
See what's not here.
See what you can add.
Yeah, exactly. See what you can add and bring an idea or a concept to the area and run a business. If you have the basics like the accounting, the legal, and those things that are normal with any business, then you can bring a new idea here, even a new drink. And there's a lot of drinks.
Yeah, we developed rum in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I mean, imagine developing rum in the Caribbean. And I really love that you saw the possibility to kind of find your niche and make a difference. And I really think that pretty much anyone could come and do something like that. I've seen many people do it, and you're telling your story here.
Absolutely. 6 years is no small amount of time, and I mean, you've been here longer than I have. Here's the proof in the pudding. Coming from a real estate, property development background versus a crazy entrepreneur, I guess you could say. But it shows that it all can work and it all does work. You just have to stick to it. And I really love that adding to it. That adding to it part is such a crucial thing. If you're coming here with the right mentality, with that right kind of missingness in your heart, if there's something that you're looking for, this place has beyond words. When you're here and you're adding to it, the community also appreciates that.
Yes.
And that's something you don't see in a lot of other countries. And the community sticks together.
I would definitely agree with that, as I've been here and have seen the community grow and have had the opportunity to meet so many people who have come here and who have done amazing things, to meet you, to hear your
Likewise,
story.
for sure.
And yeah, thank you so much. And just the keeping our eyes open for the possibilities and the opportunities, and just really kind of just going for it, which it sounds like
You only
is
live
something.
once.
Yeah, exactly. YOLO. I'm so happy that you're here. So we do have a box here where we have questions.
Uh-oh. I better get my drink.
I'd like to pull one of these questions, or have you to pull a question out, and then I can read you
What is that,
a
like
question
tying my
from-
own noose?
Exactly. So grab it. I'll read it for you, and then we can.
Okay. Do I get to see it too?
Yeah, of course. You can see it just to make sure.
That's an easy one.
It's an easy one. Okay, well, we need harder questions, folks. So remember that you can send questions to us to let us know like what you want to see, who you might want to see, what types of businesses, or any of your questions. So, this is an easy one for Joel. Maybe we should have had you to send a hard one.
And just to quickly stop you for a sec, sorry
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
It's actually, that's kind of, you just hit on it also. That's the whole point of this podcast. It's about
Yes.
interacting with you guys out there.
Yes.
Because we're here right now and we have this feeling, we have this to show, this to communicate with you. So take advantage of it, guys, honestly. Ask, she knows better than I do.
No, but I don't know much about your business,
All right,
and even
then we know a lot together.
we can learn together. That's why it's all about community. So here's a question, Joe. I don't speak Spanish. Will I be able to start a business in Punta Cana?
Absolutely. Absolutely, without any problem at all. I personally know, I'm going to say at least 30, 40 people that don't speak Spanish that have successful businesses here that are well into anywhere between a few months to a few decades. Really, the other part about that is the Spanish language, me personally, just I love it for my ears. I love speaking it. I love the way it sounds. I love the songs, the vibe of it. So to pick it up, it's kind of second nature. And I speak bits and pieces of other languages.
It sounds like it's not necessary to speak Spanish to be able to own or run a business.
I would say absolutely not, because when you come here, you're going to meet friends. I'll tell you what, it's harder not to make friends than it is to make friends here.
Right, exactly.
Tough life, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone is so friendly and open and willing to get to know you. I like that it's a melting pot, really, literally, because people from all over the world who come here and are like-minded people to live the good life, the better life, the island life, the relaxed life, the Machuca life.
The Machuca life.
Love it. So,
See this one
hey, let's live the Machuca life. I think that many people can learn from your experiences. I mean, 6 years. Who could imagine having such an amazing and successful business in a foreign country in just 6 years? And you've learned Spanish, but it's not absolutely necessary.
No.
But it happens over time. If you're interested, you learn Spanish. Before we finish, are there any final words or any piece of advice that you would give to someone who may be considering moving to a foreign country or doing something completely different?
You're going to get me all spiritual now asking that question. But the truth of the matter is if you take a step back and you look at life and what the biggest pains can be, and there's a point where I'm going with this.
Okay.
One of the biggest pains in life is to have regrets, because you can't go back in time. You can't say, I'm sorry. You can't say, oh, I wish I did this. You have to live with that decision forever. So taking this to the positive end, it's about saying, hey, instead of me 10 years, 15 years, 20 years later on saying, oh, I wish I would have done that, you have the time right now. You're listening to this podcast right now. You have the ability right now. Just do your research, find what makes you tick, what makes your heart beat, what makes you happy, even meeting new people, hanging out, doing cool things. It's a great life, and I only see it getting better and better each day.
I see the same. I really feel the same. And when I first moved here in 2006, there was nothing here, literally. Some hotels and some dirt roads, and seeing the possibility of what this area could become and making a decision to be a part of it, it's just been amazing how it has grown and has been so welcoming to so many people. Mm-hmm. And I've seen so many successes. I'm very excited to have you as a guest on our podcast, and I thank you for being a part of the show.
This is really an honor to be here.
Where can people find you, Joel?
Our main social media is going to be at Machuca World, and that's spelled MACHUCA World. We also have Machuca Life, which is part of our retailer side that's just starting to come up right now. It's just kind of coming through the first gates. But yeah, at Machuca World on Instagram is absolutely the place to be, or you'll probably be able to find me physically here every now and then.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being a part of the Punta Cana podcast. So I hope to see you again soon on a future podcast. You can subscribe, you can follow, you can like, you can give us comments, and we'll see you on the next one.